good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, depending on where you're hearing my voice from. Mighty glad to come your way via the Biafra Superstars Media once again. We always call a spade here. We say things the way they are. We don't believe in beating about the bush. It is always good to say, give me a spade. Yes, not give me an agricultural instrument that looks like a spade. That brings me to the very unfortunate, very painful experience we had since, the 20th day of October when, Omoyele Sowore and the rest of the peaceful protest group stormed Abuja. Of course, the group, hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu now, took it upon themselves to take their protest down to their Rock Villa. They wanted the president, they wanted his vice, they wanted the Senate leader, they wanted all the senators and the high-ranking government officials of Nigeria to hear them. I mean, they wanted everybody to be in the know. This is no longer hearing, from your personal assistant, hearing from your media aide. No, this time you see it right, live and direct. Omoyele Sowore with a group of other protesters, including Chief Aloysius Ejimako, the late counsel for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, all came out. They came out with Mazi's brothers and family, with a whole lot of Nigerians from the human rights sector, from the general citizenry to businessmen to civilians and to peace lovers. People came out en masse to witness and to support the hashtag release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now protest. Ladies and gentlemen, that protest was highly reported all over the social media, all over the mass media, everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. And of course, before this time, the protesters had sought and gotten police approval for their peaceful protest. Ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine, the shock. You can imagine how people were terribly dismayed when the police suddenly came out from nowhere in their battalions, wearing attires as if they were going to war. They were dressed in full wartime dresses, wartime gears, as if they have come out on war. But what did the police do? Ladies and gentlemen, the police started shooting live bullets, tear gas at the protesters, right at a very close range, shooting at them directly, not caring who was wounded, not caring who fell down dead, not caring how many people suffered from the tear gas. Ladies and gentlemen, within that terrible situation at that time, a lot of people were shouting, "My eyes, oh, my head, oh, my eyes, oh, hey, my head, my chest, my leg." They were shooting people sporadically, not caring where they got you, not caring where they hit you, not caring even if you lost your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian police have been described as the demon, highly demonized, the worst police force in the world. And man, in 2025, you're unleashing live bullets on protesters. You're shooting them tear gas. What happened to water that other police and other crimes shoot at protesters? Ordinary water. What happened to rubber bullets? These ones were shooting live and direct. Not up, not aiming at the sky, shooting right into the crowd. Killing, maiming, killing, hurting, disabling a whole lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, is a very poor commentary about our Nigerian police force. With all the money that I've invested in the police force, with all the trainings they claim they send their operatives overseas and locally, we are shocked that the police force is still turning out illiterate, undemocratic, unpatriotic police officers who have no sense of reasoning, whose only mandate is to listen to powers from above, shoot, kill, and maim. That's what appeared to be the manifesto on that day. Ladies and gentlemen, we all watched the videos. Some of us were there. We saw how it was, how tear gas, how live bullets were shot at people. In fact, I personally saw a lawyer, Ejimako, the left counsel, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brothers screaming, "My eyes, my eyes, my eyes, I can't see, I can't breathe, I can't see, I can't breathe." In that confusion, where several people were shot with live bullets and tear gas, in that confusion, in that great massive confusion and fear, there was a massive stampede. People ran for safety from all directions, running here and there, stumbling into each other, hitting each other, falling across each other. Finally, the police stormed in. They arrested Aloy Ejimako. They grabbed Prince Emmanuel, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brother. They started grabbing people they could grab under such intense atmosphere, where tear gas was all over the air, where blood was all over the floor. It was the case of sorrow, tears, and blood, as our Abamiada, Fela, and Nicola Kukuti of fame memory will say. Sorrow, tears, and blood was all over the place at Aso Rock Villa, where the police were shooting at innocent protesters who were chanting democratic slogans, who were fighting hashtag for the free Nnamdi Kanu now protest, peaceful protest. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a case of sorrow, tears, and blood. Aloysius Ejimako could not see. He was blinded by the tear gas. Some of the bullet pellets hit his leg. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's younger brother, Prince Emmanuel, was hit by the tear gas canister that was shot straight into his face, hitting him, making him numb, completely numb. Ladies and gentlemen, when will our police learn? When will these demons called the Nigerian police force learn to be civil, to be responsible, and to actively be seen to be proactive and not demonic as they are now? I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, fellow freedom lovers, but I'm fed up. Fed up with this contraption called Nigeria, where we have clueless governments, where we have clueless authorities, where we have highly insensitive military personnel and police personnel, where, of course, the rights of the masses are easily trampled upon. The right to free protest, the right to association, the right to belong anywhere they want. It was freely stampeded upon. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where we're headed in this country. I mean, this is a protest, hashtag, free Nnamdi Kanu now, that had gotten the approval of the authorities. The police said, go ahead, and they brought to the court, they wrote to the police, Inspector General, go ahead, but remain peaceful, remain calm. And then when people came out en masse in a peaceful protest, in a camp atmosphere, they were shot at with direct live bullets, with tear gas. Police came out with swords, with daggers, with hammer, with planks, hitting, shooting, tear gassing people, and arresting freedom lovers, peaceful protesters. That is a very, very, very negative PR thing for the Nigerian police. Now there's a backlash, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing happens without consequences. The world over, internationally, international observers, European Union, in the Americas, the 47th President of the United States, Canadian authorities, French authorities, everybody was watching, and they saw the Nigerian police acting such ignominy, acting such wickedness, acting such shameful demeanor. I mean, what was the police thinking? Did they think Aso Rock Villa was a remote village where nobody could see them? Could they not see the drones? Drones flying in the air. The drones that were flying in the air, recording bit by bit, blow by blow account of the protest. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigerian police have showcased their demonic characteristics all over the world. I think in sane societies, in other climes by now, the Inspector General of Police should have resigned. In other climes by now, the judiciary should have subpoenaed the police and the IG to come and explain why live bullets were being used, where tear gas were shot at innocent peaceful protesters. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria has danced naked again. This time, the demonic Nigerian police have added further nails to the coffin of Nigeria. I keep quoting our late prolific writer, Professor Chinua Achebe, who said, of course, Nigeria has become a country in retrospect. He said Nigeria no longer exists as a country. What we have there now is there was a country, once a country, and that is true. If you consider all that is happening in this country, I mean, because a man dared to protest, talk about the plight of his people. He dared to tell the whole world that my people have been treated like second-class citizens. He dared to tell the whole world that my Igbo people, my Biafra people, have not been allowed to grow. They have not been allowed to plant and germinate. They have not been allowed to drink water and drop their cup. They have not been allowed to integrate, intertwine, and belong to Nigeria. My people fought for the independence of this country, but they have been completely marginalized, subjugated. And every other time, they are reminded of the war they fought between 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, the Biafran War, and how they were ravaged, defeated by the Nigerian authorities, Nigerian army. That is the lot of my people. That's what Nnamdi Kanu told the Nigerian authorities. And ever since then, there's been a sort of demand, a sort of order on his head. It's as if the government wants him dead or alive. It's as if they want him in the DSS dungeon, die there and rot there for daring to point your hands at authorities. Who are you to talk about the plight of Biafrans? Who is Nnamdi Kanu to tell us the Igbos have been subjugated? Should he not be thankful that Igbos were not completely annihilated between 67, 68, 69, 70? Shouldn't he be thankful that at least they even still have a name, they even still have a region? Suppose we had sowed salt all over that region when we defeated them. Suppose we had sowed salt there, burnt all the farmlands, sowed salt there, and made that place barren for life. Would they have the guts to come and talk about the Biafran region? That is what the Nigerian people are telling, seems to be telling the Igbo people, the Biafran people. Ladies and gentlemen, the demon called the Nigerian police have come out full-fledged, showing that it has been given the mandate to destroy, to maim, to kill, to slay to impoverish and to delete the Biafrans. I think possibly what they failed to achieve in 1970 after the Biafran Civil War, they were hoping to achieve in 2025 by shooting directly at peaceful protesters, tear gassing peaceful protesters, and arresting the led counsel Aloy Ejimako and Prince Emmanuel, younger brother of Nnamdi Kanu, and a whole lot of other peaceful protesters, clamping them in jail. They are waiting trial now at the Kuje jail. Kuje jail are waiting trial. What a way to treat innocent people. What a way to treat peaceful protesters. Ladies and gentlemen, what else do you want to know? Who cannot see? Even the blind can see the wickedness being done to the Biafran people. Even the deaf can hear the loudness of the wickedness against the evil. Even a mad person knows that Nigeria has turned against its own. Nigeria has turned like the crocodile to eat its own egg, to eat its own offspring. How can one eat their own offspring? Nigeria have decided to eat, disembowel the Southerners, who form part of the tripod, military tripod from Nigeria, the northern, southwest, and southeast. I mean, they have foisted the highest level of wickedness against the evil. It is no longer a hidden fact. It is no longer even done secretly. It is now in the full glare of the international press when the police, the demonized police, started shooting at innocent peaceful protesters, raining fire and brimstone, shooting tear gas, shooting live bullets, hitting people, hitting them with clubs, dragging them on the floor, eventually arresting the left counsel, Aloy Ejimako of Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, they are threatening to blind him because he was shouting, I cannot see. No, I can't see. Where am I? I can't see. Somebody help me. I can't breathe. That's what Aloy Ejimako was screaming. But they bundled him and threw him into the Black Maria with the rest of the peaceful protesters. And the next thing they find themselves, they're taking them to Kuje, arraigned the court hearing, and the magistrate had sentenced them, let them remain in Kuje prison awaiting trial, further trial. That is the demon called the Nigerian police. That is the demon called the Nigerian government. And when you think of the fact that the man who currently sits as the leader of this country called Nigeria, the man who says Emiloko, was one time a civil rights activist. In fact, he and Wole Soyinka and the rest of them formed the secret guerrilla, if you like, Radio Kudurat. These same people viciously protested, excuse me, when Sani Abacha was the head of state. And of course, the election of MK Abiola had been annulled in 1993. This same man who says Emiloko, this same man who is sending the demon called the Nigerian police against peaceful protesters who dared to protest. Hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu now. Protest because they attended it, because they dared to come to Abuja, because they dared to sing slogans, because they dared to carry posters of Nnamdi Kanu, because they dared to tell the authorities the truth that you cannot continue to try and mistry a man who has been acquitted over 5 times by 5 high courts of this land. You cannot rush to a Supreme Court to continue a trial that has been discharged and acquitted. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you did see these things, but these are troubling times. These are difficult times. These are very unexpected times for Nigeria, for Ndibo, because of course, what should have been a natural protest, peaceful protest, where views could have been articulated and exchanged, where the government could have come out to say, okay, we have heard you, we're going to look into this. But no such thing happened. Ladies and gentlemen, when there was a protest for the Yoruba activists who demanded the Oduduwa Republic, when there was a protest for that man, Sunday Igboho, the government didn't shoot tear gas at them. Police did not release live bullets against them. No, but of course, the governors in all the areas, the leaders in all the areas they protested came out to say, we have heard you, you're going to hear from us. It's not over until it's over, but we'll take your views, we'll take your grievances to the highest authority. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Fulani jihadists, the Boko Harams, the Lakarawas, when they come out unleashing terror and havoc, the government does not send its military to kill them, to destroy them. It does not send the police to use live bullets on them and tear gas. No, it sends people, their leaders, to dialogue with them. Go and dialogue with those bandits. Go and dialogue with Boko Haram. Find out how much they want. Find out what we should give them, what stipend. Find out how many of them will want to join the Nigerian armed forces. That is what is done to them. It has come to the turn of peaceful protesters. Hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu now. Because an Igbo man is involved. Because a Biafran is involved. A man who dared to tell the Nigerian authorities the truth about the plight of his people. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is involved. What have they done? They have unleashed a demonic police against the people and giving them the license to kill, to maim, to destroy, shoot aside, arrest, and bear the consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big shame. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's trial has continued. Will be continuing in a short while, and yet his brother and his led counsel and other peaceful protesters are now awaiting trial at Kuje prison. How many people are they going to arrest? How many Nigerians would they arrest? How many Biafrans would they arrest? How many Biafran supporters would they arrest before they come to their senses? Take it or leave it. The Biafra man is like the mustard seed, so small. But once it starts growing, it grows and grows into gigantic size, to a monumental size, and become one of the highest, biggest trees in the forest. Nobody can stifle the growth of Biafra. Nobody can frustrate the Biafran people. Nobody can kill the dream of Biafra. Nobody, no matter how highly placed, no matter how demonized their police force is, can scuttle the hope and aspirations of the Biafran people who believe in the redeclared USB, who believe that victory is very much on the way, who believe that we don't have a personality. Biafra is not about Nnamdi Kanu. It's not about any other person. It's not about any personality. Biafra involves everybody. All encompassing, yes. All involving, yes. Biafra is not about personality. Take all the Nnamdi Kanus away. Lock them in the worst of dungeons. Biafra will still remain. The United States of Biafra will still remain. Ladies and gentlemen, Biafra is not about Nnamdi Kanu. The government is wasting its time. It's about time they do the right thing. This demon called the Nigerian police force should be sanctioned. The whole world has seen them. The whole world is listening. And as I speak to you now, senators in the United States of America are calling on Donald Trump, to declare Nigeria as a country of interest, where the rule of law, equity and justice, and that says the rule of law can no longer be ascertained, can no longer be assured. People's rights and privileges are no longer sacrosanct. Here in Nigeria, the highest bidder gets justice. The highest person who can bribe, the highest person who can motivate, the highest person who has the money gets justice to his favor. The whole world has seen it. America's 47th president is on it. European Council are on it. Everybody is watching. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame that the Nigerian police have become a demonic force to its own people, eating its own, killing its own, all because, of course, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is involved, because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's name is involved, because the Biafrans are involved. Unfortunately, that will never bust the bubble of the Biafran people. Nobody can befuddle us at this age. Nobody can derail us at this stage. No, our bubble remains intact. The Biafran bubble will never be deflated. Fellow freedom lovers, men and women of goodwill, I encourage you anywhere you are. Continue to chant Biafran slogans. Continue to support Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Continue to come out for the protest. Let us see how many of us will be gunned down. Let us see if their thirst for blood will not be abated. Ladies and gentlemen, let us wish Mazen Nnamdi Kanu quick recovery on his health. And of course, we pray that finally the government will do the needful. Declare him not guilty of any crime whatsoever. If you're with me, if you're on the same page with me, I think I wish you well. Let us wish ourselves well. Let us pray for Biafra. These are difficult times. These are times that look like end times. But of course, we know victory is on the way. We can see it. When things become too rough, when things become suddenly too difficult, that's when the solution is around the corner. And we know as far as we're concerned, the solution, the achievement of Biafra, the United States, really declared the United States of Biafra, is just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. We shall be clinking our champagne soon. We shall be clinking our champagnes very, very soon. Yes, because of course we know it's no longer about the Biafran team. Omoyele Sowore is involved. Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, is involved. Every Nigerian has seen the plight of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and the plight of the Biafran people. How, of course, one law is administered to Biafran people who are Christians, and another law is administered to the Boko Haram terrorists, the Lakarawas, the Fulani jihadists, who pretend to be cattle bearers, but are every other day carrying around bomb-making devices, carrying AK-47 guns, and committing heraldry, wickedness, and all kinds of inhumanities to farmlands and to communities inhabited by Christians. Ladies and gentlemen, the demon called the Nigerian police force has come out in the full glare of the public, no longer hiding the fact that it can be used against the Biafran people or anybody for that matter. God bless you all. Thank you, and God bless.